Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, David, and Naomi, thank you for sharing your story. It has been a privilege to get to know you better over the last few months, and every time you tell that story, I'm in awe. So thank you for sharing that. I also wanted to thank this group. You have been such a tremendous support of our mission to save and enhance lives through the healing power of human cells and tissues over the entire life of the foundation. And what we're talking about at Velocity is a way to extend that mission one step further and tie that back to the patients that we have always served. Right now, we have been working to extend that mission with companies that have products in development. We have 29 companies in our pipeline. That's 29 new therapeutics that will go to, that we will help support development of, and that will go to patients in the San Antonio area and well beyond around the world. So I wanted to give you an update on the facility, the capacity and capability development and that we are undertaking. As you know, we had our ribbon cutting for our dedicated facility at the headquarters site in January of 2018. And that was our first dedicated space. That was 1,200 square feet, 2 clean room suites. And we have put that to good use to develop our capability and develop a customer base, demonstrate our capacity in the market. And customers were very excited about what we could do with an expanded facility. We laid out an extremely aggressive timeline. A lot of planning went into this last year. We started work in the first quarter and mapped out that plan by quarter to get to completion by the end of the year. This will take our clean room capacity from 1,200 square feet here at headquarters to 6,000 square feet, with an additional expansion capability for another 8,000 square feet of clean room space. That's all dedicated production area for new therapeutics. Each of those rounds of expansion, this first round of 6,000 square feet, will hold 11 individually contained clean rooms, 5 of those that will be dedicated to full production, and 2,500 square feet that we'll be able to dedicate to research and development that we will do in collaboration with those customers. It's a little process and analytical development capability. So we're excited to see that. If you look at we go to the next slide, we are on track for launch of that facility in Q4. The way we've managed to do that is by breaking the work into 3 tracks. We have the facility construction, and you can see this was an old warehouse building. You can see how that has been torn down and is being rebuilt to our specifications to accommodate the needs of this facility. We have another track going on in terms of the equipment that's being ordered and delivered today and taken through all of the quality assurance processes so that when the facility is ready, it can be moved in. The third track is the actual clean room pods. These are modular units that are being constructed in College Station, independently of the facility and the equipment. So at the end of this process, all of that will be brought together in one crazy month that will be bringing the pods down from College Station. They'll be staged at the Alamo Dome. We'll put those into the facility and then move the equipment in there and proceed to get to work. Now, I have promised Allison, where are you, Allison? I have promised Allison that as soon as it is safe, we will organize a tour for this group and you'll get to see those facilities. It is exciting. If you look at the next slide, we had our team going to College Station to look at what the pods, how the pods are coming along, how that work stream is being developed. And to get something like this done, it takes a tremendous amount of support with everyone working together. The team has weekly meetings with representatives from the city, from the utilities, from all the contractors, and our operations and quality teams. So we had contingents from all of those groups, with Jim Mitchell on the far right, representing project control and the city's interests, and Jesse Gilligan, our validation specialist, and the remainder of our operations team. There in May, looking at the pods, and you can see on the far right, that's the shell construction of those pods. All of those are going to get loaded up onto flatbed trailers, taken to the Alamo Dome, and then one by one pushed into the facility. Mary's really excited, is trying to organize a push party. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but we'll see. So on the next slide, you can see where the future home of those pods. Again, this is just had been empty shell space, had been abandoned warehouse on the east side, and this is turning into a very vibrant life science and business community that will really bring that area lots of new opportunities and give us the opportunity to engage in that part of the city. On the next slide, you'll see some of our team at the warehouse going through the validation. They took a break for the camera, but everybody is rolling up shirt sleeves and getting hot and doing what needs to get done to make that deadline. The equipment began to arrive last Monday. 127 pieces of equipment that need to be processed before we can put them into the clean rooms. So it's a lot of coordination, a lot of teamwork. And then finally, the last two slides, you'll see just a quick snapshot of the rate at which progress is being made. This was taken on July 29th, and the next slide is the same site a week later. So it's being all framed out and ready to go. That is external to the building. That's where our mechanical room will be set up, so that we will have a total of 21,000 square feet in the warehouse that will be made available to us for the production suites, process development, and offices, changing rooms, etc. Last photo slide is looking at capability development. All of that goes to developing capacity so that we can serve other customers. We had to develop some of our own capabilities, and this is, you've heard over the last 3 years about the MTech award that we received to fund scale up of cell production in a large capacity bioreactor. So this is our 80-liter bioreactor. We're at the final stage of that project and doing the technology transfer. This is our team up in Maryland working with Rooster Bio, doing the technology transfer, learning how to use the machine, and then bringing it back to our facility. We've now done 3 of these production runs in our facility, and still have 2 more planned. So that's another contract that we will finish on time and on budget, and have a tremendous capacity that we can bring to the market. What that means for patients, the reason that we pursued this is that the production methods that are being used today yield very small volumes relative to what would be needed for a clinical trial, and certainly for any commercial application once a drug is approved or once a therapy is approved. This allows us to do 2.5 to 3 times the number of cells, produce 2.5 to 3 times the number of cells that we could in a single run in our current production method. So what that does is enables us to get to clinical scale production with some of these products. I was just reading some of the literature about a recently approved therapeutic that takes 11 trillion cells per kilogram. So I haven't done the math on what that would be like, but it's very high volume cells per dose. Now each patient only needs 2 doses, but that's still a lot a lot of units, a lot of cells, viral copies. So that's why this is such a critically important project for us to have undertaken. And we are the first CDMO, contract manufacturer, to have that capability with the type of cell that we're focused on. So I want to bring this home to talk about the clinical trials that are being supported with the work that we're doing and the work that's being done in cell therapy and regenerative medicine. On our last slide, this is a fairly dry graph, but it brings home the visual. This is the population we have been serving for our entire legacy. 60%, there are over 1,000 trials being done now. 60% of those are in oncology, 9% in trauma-related conditions. So if you think about the population that we've been serving as a blood bank, it's the same population. We're just finding new and better ways all along to serve them, whether it's in innovation or our blood processing team and how we're delivering blood to the community, or what we're doing with cells, other cells and tissues to bring those home. So again, I want to thank you for your support. This is not as heartwarming as some of the other stories that you hear, but it's critically important. The work that we're doing is supporting the therapies that are being put through for licensure. So getting them through clinical trials is what's going to allow them to get to the patients that need them. So thank you.